The Powell Geographic Expedition of 1869, led by American naturalist John Wesley Powell, was the first thorough cartographic and scientific investigation of long segments of the Green and Colorado rivers in the southwestern United States, including the first recorded passage of white men through the entirety of the Grand Canyon. The expedition, which lasted approximately 3 months during the summer of 1869, embarked from Green River Station, Wyoming Territory, and traveled downstream through parts of the present-day states of Colorado, Utah, and Arizona before reaching the confluence of the Colorado and Virgin Rivers in present-day Nevada. Despite a series of hardships, including losses of boats and supplies, near drownings, and the eventual departures of several crew members, the voyage produced the first detailed descriptions of much of the previously unexplored canyon country of the Colorado Plateau. Powell retraced part of the 1869 route on a second expedition in the winter of 1871–72. In 1875, he published a classic account of the first expedition, called Report on the Exploration of the Colorado River of the West and its Tributaries, which was revised and reissued in 1895 as The Exploration of the Colorado River and its Canyons. The expedition. Background: Powell had spent much of his youth rafting the Mississippi River and its tributaries in the upper Midwest. A Union major during the American Civil War, he lost his right arm to amputation in 1862 after he was hit by a musket ball at the Battle of Shiloh. Prior to coming west, Powell had been a professor of geology at the Illinois State Normal School and a curator of the Illinois Museum of Natural History. The expedition set out from Green River Station on May 24, 1869, with a company of 10 men including Powell. Green River Station's convenient location on the Transcontinental Railroad, which had been completed in Utah Territory just 2 weeks earlier, allowed Powell to ship the expedition's 4 boats directly from Chicago to the launching point. The company included Powell's brother Walter, as well as a group of seasoned mountain men and war veterans that Powell had recruited on his way to Wyoming. The complete roster included John Wesley Powell, Walter H. Powell, a captain in the Civil War, and John's brother, John C. Sumner, a professional guide and outfitter who had guided Powell, his wife, and his students through the Rocky Mountains on previous trips to the West. Ormel G. Howland, a printer, editor, and hunter. Seneca Howland, a mountain man and Ormel's brother. William H. Dunn, a hunter and trapper from Colorado. William R. Hawkins, a mountain man, possible ex-fugitive, and the expedition's cook. Frank Goodman, an Englishman and skilled boat handler who had come west looking for adventure. Andy Hall, a 19-year-old mule driver whose skills as an oarsman impressed Powell. George Y. Bradley, a soldier at Fort Bridger who agreed to accompany Powell in exchange for a discharge from the United States Army that Powell arranged. All of the expedition members had considerable wilderness know-how, and 7 were veterans of the Civil War, all of whom had fought for the Union. None of them, however, had any significant whitewater experience on the rivers of the West. Only 4 of the men were paid for their participation, 3 at a wage of $25 per man per month for making maps and using scientific instruments, and Billy Hawkins at $1.50 per day for his services as camp cook. Powell purchased 4 modified, round-bottomed Whitehall boats for the expedition. The 3 freight boats, the Maid of the Cannon, the Kitty Clyde's Sister, and the No Name, were identical in design, 21 feet long and 4 feet wide, built of sturdy but heavy oak, with a decked-over bulkhead at each end for storage space. Nearly 7,000 pounds of food and supplies, enough to last 10 months, were divided equally between these three boats. The fourth boat, the Dean, was smaller and lighter, only 16 feet long and built of pine. This was Powell's personal boat, and was rigged with a strap that Powell could clutch with his left hand to keep his balance while standing on deck. Each boat would be rowed by 2 oarsmen, with only Powell and Oromel Howland, the expedition's official mapmaker, excused from rowing duties. Journey. Early on the Green River, the Powell expedition lost one of the large freight boats, the No Name, at a rapids they named Disaster Falls, washing up on Disaster Island. No one was killed, but many crucial supplies were lost, including all of the expedition's barometers. Fortunately, Powell and his men managed to recover some of the barometers. They were the only means Powell had at his disposal to determine altitude. Knowing the altitude was essential for producing good maps, and it allowed Powell to estimate how much vertical drop remained before the journey's end point, which had a known elevation. The Powell expedition named many of the landmarks and geological features along the Green and Colorado rivers, including the Flaming Gorge, the Gates of Lador, and Grand Canyon. Of the 10 men that started out from Green River Station, 6 completed the entire journey. Frank Goodman left the expedition on July 6 during the resupply at the Inter-River Indian Agency, claiming it had more than enough adventure. He walked away and lived for some years with the Paiutes of eastern Utah. Eventually, he settled in Vernal, Utah, where he married and raised a family. The other 3 adventurers to leave the expedition fared worse. On August 28, just 2 days from the expedition's intended destination at the mouth of the Virgin River, Oromel Howland, his brother Seneca, and Bill Dunn left the company, fearing they could not survive the dangers of the river much longer. They hiked out of the canyon and were never seen again. Historians still dispute the fate, but it is often proposed that they were killed by local Shivwits Indians in a case of mistaken identity. Another story suggests that they were executed by Mormons who mistook them for spies. On August 30, Powell and the 5 others reached safety at the Mormon settlement of Colville near the mouth of the Virgin River. Dramatization. The expedition was dramatized in the 1960 Disney film 10 Who Dared and the 2015 play Men on Boats by Jacqueline Backhouse.